Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We are going to be starting at exactly 3:05 p.m., so please stay tuned. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. To those of you who have just come, we are going to start at exactly 3:05 p.m. If you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A box, and we'd be happy to take them at the end of the presentation. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Anna Chanda, and I'm the Senior Education USA Advisor in the Karachi office. In today's session, we will be talking about all things statement of purpose related, from crafting an effective statement of purpose to some important things to keep in mind as you go ahead and get started on writing your SOP, and just general good housekeeping rules to follow. But before we start with today's session content, I would like to quickly introduce you to Education USA, who we are, and what we do. Education USA is a part of the U.S. Department of State network with more than 430 international student advising centers in more than 170 countries across the world. Education USA Pakistan provides free advising services to all Pakistani students who are interested in pursuing their bachelor's, master's, or PhD in the United States. Education USA is your official source of all US higher education. So if you have any questions at all about anything related to applying or the visa processes, how to get started, how to look for universities, how to look for different kind of funding available, please go ahead and get in touch with us. This is the QR code to download our application. It works like WhatsApp, and you can use it to communicate with our advisors Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, these are the 5 steps that are involved in applying to US universities. The good news for you is that regardless of which of these 5 steps you are on, Education USA advisors are happy to assist you throughout the process. The first step, as you can see on screen, is researching your options. This is by far and large an extremely important step in the entire process, because the more time and energy you invest in researching your options, the more satisfied you will be with your final choice of university and program and degree. The second step is financing your studies. This is another extremely important step, because the goal of your application is not just to get accepted, it is to be able to attend a US higher education institution. For that, you need to make sure that you have the kind of funding that is needed in order to attend, be it your personal assets and personal savings, or any kind of financial aid that you're able to secure, any scholarships or assistantships that you apply for. Whatever the medium may be, you need to make sure that you have the funds that are needed in order to pursue your entire degree in the United States. The third step of this process is completing your application. This is where your GRE, your essays, your letters of recommendation, your resume, all of this will come in. This is all a part of your application package, and you have to make sure that you complete all of these documentations on time before the application deadline. The fourth step is applying for your student visa. Oftentimes, students don't know how to get started, where the visa form is available, how to prepare for the visa interview, what documents to take. So if you have any of these questions, you can always reach out to our team and get in touch with us about how to prepare for your student visa and how to get started on that. And finally, once you've gotten your visa, everything is complete, you get ready to depart for the United States. Education USA annually hosts their pre-departure orientation, where we assist students with commonly asked questions about what are the next steps to take upon arrival in the United States, what are important documents to take for immigration, and what do they need to do in order to settle in smoothly at their new campus. So whichever of these steps you are on, you can reach out to our advising team using the email that is shown at the end of the presentation, and we would be happy to assist you with your queries and with your concerns. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the different types of essays. Before we talk about how to write the perfect graduate essay, you have to know what are the different types of essays that are out there. As you can see on the screen, the first type is the personal statement. This is different from the statement of purpose, as I will go on to explain in this presentation in more detail. Then there's the research proposal for PhD students, and there's also scholarship essays that you might need to write depending on whether or not you're applying for any kind of scholarships. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our conversation about personal statements. Personal statements are essays that give admissions committees a deeper sense of who you are as a person. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Right. So these focus on your personal motivations. They let universities know what are your driving factors for choosing the major that you've chosen, for being in the field that you are in, for pursuing the degree that you are applying for, and generally for choosing the different career paths that you have chosen over the past as well as in the present. This essay is usually 500 to 1,000 words. As you can see, the word personal is in the title itself. So it's more personalized, it's more, vulnerable in a way that it talks about in greater detail your journey, your future life goals, how you've arrived, where you've arrived, and what you plan to do with this degree in the future as well. This is a requirement for most graduate schools, but it's not the same as a statement of purpose. There are a few differences, and I will explain those in the upcoming slides. Now, before we move on to SOPs, how do you write a personal statement? The first thing is you need to understand the prompt. What is the university asking for when they want you to write an essay? Are they asking for a more personalized essay, or are they asking for an essay that is more professional? If it is a personalized essay and if they want a personal statement from you, then you have to first understand the prompt and then outline your essay, plan it, figure out how are you going to introduce yourself to the admissions committee in your essay. You need to have a thesis statement that is the main driving force in your essay. This is the central key idea, the key theme of your essay, and this is what you will keep on, kind of referring back to as you move along in the paragraphs. Finally, you have to make sure that you make this essay relevant to the program that you're applying to. This is not just a personal recap of all the struggles that you've been through. You need to make sure that this is an essay written with the intention of getting admission into your desired program. So what are some strategies that you can use? The first thing to remember is that this is your opportunity to convince the admissions committee that you deserve a spot in their incoming class of students. So make sure you make a strong case for yourself in your essay. You highlight your strongest, personality traits, your strongest, skill sets, whatever it is that makes you stand out. The second thing is get personal. The university wants you to highlight the struggles that you might have gone through, any challenges that you might have overcome, any personal goals or aspirations that you might have that you wouldn't otherwise mention in a professional essay. You need to go deep and you need to get vulnerable. So you need to ensure that you are writing basically from the heart, and you are being expressive and being emphatic about what it is that is your driving force, not just professionally, but also as a person. Finally, you have to remember who you are writing this essay for. This is not for a peer review, journal. This is not for, any kind of internal assignment. This is basically an admissions essay that is written with the intention for the university to get to know you better and to give you a chance at studying at their esteemed institution. So you have to make sure you're making it professional at all times. Please make sure the syntax, the grammar, everything needs to be perfect, and that you are addressing the institution in such a way that they feel compelled to give you that admission. All right, what are some key elements that you can include in this essay? The first one is, of course, the introduction. So start with a hook that grabs the reader's attention and introduces your overall theme. A key important thing to remember in writing is that the opening statement is one of the most powerful ways to leave an impression on a reader. So please make sure that you are opening with something unique, something different, something that will help the reader remember your application and your profile. Next, you need to give a little bit of background. So briefly outline your academic history, your work experience, any relevant skills or achievements that you have, because all of this will further add to your profile and convince the university admission representatives that you are worth admitting. The next one is your motivation and goals. Clearly state your reasons for pursuing graduate studies and the program that you're applying to, highlighting how they align with your long-term career goals. So when you apply to a university, it's not just about what are you bringing to the table, it's also about how will you benefit the university in the long term? How will you take this education that they are giving you a chance at getting, and how will you really maximize the benefits that you and others can derive from this high quality, international education experience. So talk about what you will do with this educational experience. Talk about how you will benefit others, how you will, kind of like further your aspirations within your chosen field in the next 5 to 10 years. Be very specific about your goals. Be very specific about how you plan on using this information, this degree, to help others or to help the field, move forward. And the more specific you are, the more convincing your argument about whether or not you deserve a spot in this university's incoming class. Next, you have to show the university that you've done research and you understand what this program is about. Because finding the right program and institution that matches your aspirations or your the skill set that you're looking for is the perfect way to convince a university that you've done thorough research. You know what their program is about. You know what their most star accomplishments are, what their vision is, what their mission is, and how your long-term goals align perfectly with this university's vision, mission, and program offerings. Additionally, when you're writing a personal statement, you have to understand that you will need to highlight your unique qualities, your skills, your experiences that make you a strong candidate and that make you different from other candidates. Now, one of the most commonly asked questions that we get is how to make sure our essay doesn't sound like AI. And if you think about it, how can an essay sound like it's written by AI if it's all about you, your personality, your personal struggle, your achievements, your skill set, your experiences? Because nobody else in the world shares the same exact educational or personal trajectory that you do. So this is a very simple way of remembering that the more personalized your essay is, the more detailed, the more specific your essay is, the less AI-like it will sound, and the more it will attract the reader and help them remember you as a candidate. use specific examples in your essay to make it different from other people's personal statements. You have to refer to instances where you either learned something, or they were a key changing point, like a key transformation experience, or maybe they were kind of like something that prompted you to choose a different direction, that helped you reach your current accomplished state. So whatever it is, use specific examples and go into details about what exactly happened, how did you overcome that challenge, and how has it helped you become a better student, a better individual, and a better candidate for this university. Additionally, make sure you are highlighting any and all transferable skills that you have, that you are bringing to this university's program of your choice. For example, if you have excellent communication skills, if you're brilliant at teamwork, if you've done great problem solving projects in the past, if you have excellent critical thinking skills, or anything that you've learned through your unique experiences as a Pakistani international student applying for this program, all of this is transferable knowledge and information that your university and your peers from across the world will stand to benefit from once you arrive at your US university campus. So please make sure you highlight this in your essay about how you're bringing all these different transferable skills with you. And it's a complete package, and how you stand to benefit not just yourself, but others who will get to learn more about the on the ground realities and challenges that you have had to face as an international student in this area of expertise. Additionally, please make sure you reflect on your entire journey overall, and how it has again forced you to kind of grow as an individual, how it has led you to transition from different phases of your life into your current phase, and how you will continue to move forward in a desirable way even after you are at this university and even after you graduate from this university. Okay, fun fact. If you know that there are any gaps in your profile, for example, if you know that your undergraduate GPA was not high enough, or if you know that your master's did not have a thesis attached to it, or if you know for a fact that perhaps you don't have a GRE, score that is high enough, whatever your gaps are in your profile, your essay is the one place where you can kind of explain that and convince the readers that even though there are gaps, they don't reflect on your limitations. Rather, they are basically your building blocks for becoming an even better, more evolved person. So if you know that your undergraduate GPA was lower than it should have been, then you can explain in your essay about the challenging circumstances that you might have gone through. Maybe there was a personal struggle, maybe there was a death in the family, maybe there was an illness that caused you to, struggle for a semester, take a semester break, whatever it was. This is your chance. This is your chance to tell the admissions committee that you went through something and that is what impacted your educational journey. But this does not mean that you will always continue to struggle. It just was the circumstantial, scenario in that moment in time. So this is your chance, remember, to address any gaps in your profile and to let the readers know what the issue was, how you resolved it, and how you plan on combating it in the future. Okay. Important thing, please make sure that you have a professional and respectful tone throughout your essay. Your tone is extremely important because this affects your credibility as a writer, as an applicant. If you don't have a professional tone in your essay, then that just means that you're not ready for graduate level study in the United States, because you don't know how to communicate at that level of education. So please make sure you are respectful, you are courteous, and you are professional throughout your essay. Even if you're talking about something funny, you can always convey that, or something ironic, you can always convey that in a very respectful manner without compromising on your tone. Finally, end with a strong and memorable takeaway that memorizes your key points and reiterates your enthusiasm for the program. A strong conclusion will help the readers remember your essay and, kind of increase your chances of getting accepted to this program. Finally, once you're done with the entire essay, please make sure you get it proofread either by Education USA. We would be happy to review your SOP for you, or by a professor who you trust, who you've worked with in the past, or an alum from the university that you are applying to, or from the program that you are interested in. Somebody who has context, who has the knowledge that is needed to assess whether or not your SOP is up to mark, and who can point out any flaws or any gaps in your SOP that you can fix, or in your personal statement that you can fix, right? So by addressing these key elements, you can create a compelling and well-rounded personal statement that showcases your qualifications and makes you a strong candidate for graduate school admission. Now let's talk about research proposals. This is for PhD students. If you are applying for a PhD, chances are the university might ask you to submit a research proposal that's roughly 3,000 to 4,000 words. This helps your future supervisors better understand your line of thinking, what kind of experience you've already had in research, what kind of research are you planning to do in the future with your thesis. So this is a great, one-stop area where professors will review your future research interests. The structure of the research proposal is title, overview, methodology, outcomes and impact, and references. This is a general rule of thumb. You can take a screenshot of the slide and save it for future reference if you are somebody who's interested in doing a PhD in the future and wants to write one. All right. Scholarship essays. Now, many of you might be applying for different kinds of scholarships or assistantships. In that case, you might be required to write a scholarship essay. The topic is going to be given by the scholarship committee. It's decided by them internally, and this essay is roughly 500 to 800 words. The main questions that you will address and this essay is giving them your background, showing them how you've had leadership experience in the past, areas like roles that might have led you to, show your leadership qualities. You will highlight your accomplishments, explain your need, and basically give context about that. And finally, end with how will this scholarship assist you in meeting your future goals and securing the dream university education that you have always sought. The structure is simple. The first paragraph will be introducing yourself and stating your intentions and your current place in the program. This middle paragraphs will include educational objectives, career goals, brief background about extracurriculars or any other volunteer work, any other community service that you might have done, any projects that you might have worked on, any kind of independent research that you might have undertaken, and your financial need. The final paragraph will conclude by highlighting the impact of education that you've received and a thank you note for being considered for the scholarship. And now let's move on to the statement of purpose. This is something that I was referring to earlier as well. The differences between a statement of purpose and a personal statement. At a glance, a statement of purpose is basically an essay that gives the admissions committee a better sense of your academic and professional desire and achievements. It discusses the purpose for applying to graduate school as it relates to your academic and professional goals. This is an important component of the admissions, like any other essay, and it is 800 to 1,000 words. This slide is extremely important, and if you don't know the difference between these two documents, it's important to take a screenshot right now and save this for future review. A statement of purpose is basically to explain why you want to study a certain subject. A personal statement is to explain why you are the right candidate for a certain program. A statement of purpose or an SOP is more forward-looking. It's more concerned with your future professional plans, your purpose in life, right? SOP. Your future career plans, your research interests, what are your long-term goals? Whereas a personal statement is all more focused about the perspective. So not just about long-term goals, but also backward-looking, where it's looking at what you've done in the past to prepare for your future career or study in this chosen field, and how have your past experiences shaped you. So one is forward-looking, one is backward-looking. They don't have to be either or. You can, even in your statement of purpose, you can have some mention of your past, journey. In your personal statement, you can have mention of your future goals, but mainly the purpose of both the essays is very different because they're looking for something completely different in a candidate. And finally, an SOP, the main focus will be on credentials, qualifications, your professional interests. You have to explain why you are the right candidate for the program of study and why this institution is the right one for you. Whereas in a personal statement, you're going to talk more about the person that you are today, explain how your personal and academic experiences have shaped you into a unique, exceptional candidate. As you can see, the personal statement is more about your personal journey, your personal struggles, your personality, whereas the statement of purpose is more about your professional personality, your professional struggles, or your professional goals in the future. It's more about what you wish to do with this degree in the future, right? So before you start writing your essay, it's important to understand which of these two essays the university is looking for. Is it a personal statement or is it a statement of purpose? In a statement of purpose, in addition to that, you also need a solid resume in your profile. You need to make sure your background is highlighted throughout your application. You need to show different aspects of your personality through your essay, through your resume. You need to make sure both your resume and your statement of purpose are aligned perfectly with the program that you're applying for. And you need to show them the purpose of your application. Why is it that you want to go to this university, to this degree, like a degree progress program. Next, what is the structure? Similar to all the other essays, you introduce yourself, develop a connection, and share a long-term goal and how this program will help you achieve it. The next paragraphs will be about your experiences and the learnings that brought you to the stage and how this long-term goal was formed. The final paragraph will be about the intro once again, where you tie it all together, you refer back to the intro and talk about how this program is the perfect fit for you, how you are the perfect fit for this program, and how you and this program combined will help you meet your long-term goal, which will not just benefit you, but others as well. Okay, getting started. Read the question many times. Ask yourself basically questions about yourself, your future plans, and how you develop them. So this is a great list of questions to ask yourself if you're thinking of starting to write your SOP. What is the most interesting thing about you, the most impressive? When or how did you decide what you wanted to study, that you wanted to study the subject or pursue this career? Which writers or texts have influenced you the most? Which professors? What experiences and different parts of your journey have fostered or demonstrated your persistence and work ethic? What have you learned from work or research experiences in the past? How have obstacles that you have faced prepare you for grad school? What do you hope to gain from your graduate education? What makes this particular graduate program a place where you will thrive? Which professors at this particular program have research interests that align with yours? And what will you contribute to the program in school? So look at the answers that you write down in response to all of these questions. Which of these answers do you think are the strongest and most compelling? Which lend themselves best to the narrative? Are there any ideas that come up more than once? These are the ideas that will become the backbone of your personal statement or statement of purpose. Also, another important thing to remember is that sometimes the universities might say that they want a personal statement, but they might be looking for something more professional. So it's important to not just read the title of the essay, it's also important to read the prompt that is given. Those 3 lines explaining what they're looking for will give you an idea about which kind of essay they are more interested in and how to basically start writing your graduate essay for the university. A great checklist to go while you're going through your SOP preparations is just taking a picture of this and going through this systematically. Explain why you want to pursue this graduate degree, outline your interest in a given subject of expertise, highlight your strengths and suitability for the program, discuss your medium and long-term goals, define your research interests, emphasize why you're a good fit for the school, and describe why the school is a good fit for you. Some good tips to write your statement of purpose. Start early. The sooner you start writing your essay, the better your chances that you will finish in time. Focus on unique experiences. Like I said, this will help you make sure that your essay doesn't sound like AI generated content or generalized, because the more specific your your essay is, the more interesting it is for the reader. Emphasize everything from a positive perspective and write in an active, not passive voice. Your essay should not sound like things happen to you. It should be more about how you experience things. So passive and active voice are a very important aspect of writing. Additionally, make sure that even if you went through a struggle, it doesn't sound like you are complaining about it. More importantly, it should sound like you overcame a challenge or a setback. So it should always be the positive angle of how you overcame a struggle, as opposed to how many struggles you've had in your life as a student, right? Consider your audience. Remember that the people who are reading these essays are graduate admission committee members. They are extremely experienced professors, sometimes tenured. They've been working in the academic industry for many, 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 many years, sometimes decades, and they are expecting a level of professional writing that is at par with the educational offerings at this institution. Make sure you know what this institution's top qualities are, what their pride is, what their most famous, strengths are, and you incorporate those into your writing. Additionally, don't forget to add dimensions and layers into your writing. What this means is that there are multiple ways to use one sentence to convey multiple meanings. So always try to write with strong adjectives and phrase your sentences in such a way that you make them more impactful without taking up too many words, because you do have a word limit. Read other sample statements, but don't read too many of them. Read a few to get an idea of what exactly it is that you need to, incorporate in your own writing. Don't copy the content ever, because that's plagiarism. Just read them for inspiration purposes and also for critical, learning purposes. By studying them and figuring out what it is that you enjoyed, as a reader in that piece of writing, and how can you make your writing more inspiring. Finally, there's no such thing as too much proofreading. So please make sure you and at least one or two other people, if not three other people, have gone through your essay at least twice to ensure that there are no silly mistakes, no grammatical errors, no syntax errors, no typos, no formatting errors, and everything is up to the mark before submission. All right. Personalizing your statement of purpose when it comes to standing out in the crowd, this is the part that makes you stand out and really shine as a candidate. So, like I said, share your story, use your essay to connect the dots, be authentic instead of trying to sound like other people who got admitted into this program. Sound like yourself. There's something about you that makes you uniquely different, that makes you better than other candidates because there's something that you bring to the table that nobody else can. So, know what that is about you. That something is called your unique selling point. Know what your unique selling point is as a graduate student, emphasize it, build your essay around it, and make sure you use your unique selling point to the optimum degree when it comes to highlighting your strengths and showing that you're a great candidate for admission. Show your passion in your essay. Don't let it be just a dry piece of writing. Please make sure you infuse it with the passion that you have for this field, for this area of study. And at the end of your essay, the reader should be able to tell why you are so passionate about your chosen area of study and what makes you want to continue pursuing it in the future as well. And finally, this brings us to the last point. Reflect on your future. Know what your long-term goals are, how studying in the US will help you achieve them, and what makes this program and this university the perfect place to study in the United States for you. All right, that brings us to the end of the presentation. If you learned something today that you would like to know more about, you can reach out to us at these three emails to set up a one-on-one advising session. If you are from the Sindh and Balochistan region, you can reach out to us, me and my team, at Karachi@educationusa.org. If you are from the Punjab region, then you can reach out to Lahore at @educationusa.org. And if you're tuning in from northern Pakistan, then you can reach out to Islamabad at @educationusa.org. And our advising teams would be more than happy to assist you with any queries that you have regarding your US applications. At this point, I would like to now start with the question and answer sessions. So if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to address them for you. All right, let's see. In this age where AI is prevalent, how can we make our statement stand out? This is a question that we've already talked a lot about in today's session. How can you make your essay stand out? The answer is don't use AI. First of all, don't use plagiarism. Don't use AI, mediums to write your essay. Don't even upload your essays into any kind of portal or website for proofreading, because the minute you upload your writing, your original writing, into any kind of platform, it is now, it's almost like you're giving away the right to that original content to that platform. And that platform will use your writing to suggest edits to other people's essays. So the first thing to remember is, even if you want to do a grammar check through Grammarly, download the Grammarly extension for Word, MS Word. Do not upload things into Grammarly or into ChatGPT or any other AI platforms, because that will compromise on the credibility and the authenticity of your content. The next one. Okay, I've done an MPhil in biochemistry with 5 years teaching experience in the same field as a visiting lecturer, applied for US PhD programs in the previous cycle, didn't get into any. Should I apply for a master's program? How can we manage finances for master's? That's a great question. It requires a very detailed and personalized answer. So my recommendation to you is, please reach out to us at Karachi@educationusa.org if you're from the Sindh and Balochistan region, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about your background, your profile. I will need to know more about what you want to study in the future and what you've studied in the past before I can guide you on whether you should apply for PhD programs directly again, or whether you should change your strategy and apply for master's. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Can we provide you with a sample statement for reference? Unfortunately, we do not share sample statements. However, we can guide you on how to find reliable samples. For that, just set up a meeting with us, and we can tell you basically about certain websites that will guide you on how to write your SOP, and that have samples with critical analysis included in them. I have a master's in CS on Fulbright. After that, I was a lecturer, but then I joined the development sector as an M&E ICT personnel. Does this negatively impact my admission? Absolutely not. Why would it negatively impact your admission? It is common for people to switch careers or to go from one field to the other. The important thing to remember is that you need to be able to justify that switch and explain why you switched from one field to the other. So it's okay if you graduated with a master's in something else and then you went on to work in a professional role that is something else. The question is, which of these two do you wish to pursue in the future, and how will you justify that choice? How can we access recordings and previous sessions? Okay, you can go to our Education USA Pakistan YouTube page. Over there, you should be able to access recordings from past webinars, as well as this webinar should be available in the next 7 to 10 working days. All right. Can we send writing to Education USA? Absolutely. You can send your SOPs to us for review. Ideally, we will set up a one-on-one meeting with you and do a live review so we can give you live feedback about the different things that we think can improve within your SOP. And then you can go ahead and revise the SOP and have a follow-up meeting with us. So you can email us for a meeting at any of the 3 emails based on your region, and we would be happy to assist you with your SOP reviews. Can I explain medium and long-term goals a little bit more? Okay, so medium goals are basically like 5-year goals, like 2 to 5-year goals would be medium-term goals, but long-term goals are usually like 5 to 10-year goals. In the next decade, where do you see yourself professionally? How do you see yourself growing? How do you see yourself like, kind of like further building upon whatever it is that you are working on currently in the present? All right. I want to apply for PhDs. Can you help and suggest some tips for the personal statement essay? Once again, my tips and suggestions will depend on your profile and your background. So we will need to have a meeting for that. Please email the relevant team based on your region out of the 3 emails shared on the screen, and we will be happy to have a detailed meeting with you where we guide you on how you can highlight certain parts of your profile in your essay to further strengthen your personal statement essay. How can we get to know professors of a particular US university and their interests in research aligning with us? Great question. You need to visit the university's official website and go to the department that you are interested in applying for. For example, if I apply for a PhD in economics, then I would go to the Department of Economics at, I can take my alma mater's name, University of Maryland, for example. And over there, I can look at the professors, the list of faculty, and see what is the research that the professors have recently been working on. And that will give me a good idea as to which professor's work aligns perfectly with mine and which one I should be reaching out to. All right. Okay. Any scholarships for masters in which there's no IELTS or GRE mandatory required? Unfortunately, the only fully funded scholarship that we have through USEFP is the Fulbright Scholarship, which is for masters and PhD candidates who are interested in pursuing their graduate studies in the US from Pakistan. For that, the GRE is a mandatory requirement, and you need a minimum of 145 in the verbal and a minimum of 145 in the quantitative sections in order to qualify. All right. Interested in pursuing an LLM, have an IELTS result card. Can you please let me know whether I'm eligible for admission without a GRE score? Okay, great. This is another very specific question because you're looking for a specific graduate degree. My recommendation is email us, have a meeting with us, and we can guide you based on your profile and your university's of interest about whether or not you are eligible. Okay. All right. Yes, we do assist in CV reviews as well. So if you would like to set up a meeting with us to review your CV and give you feedback about how to make it better, we would be more than happy to do that. We've also had a past session on CV formatting and like how to improve your CV for graduate admission applications as well. So you can go through that using our YouTube page. All right. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone. Last question. Research proposal for MS application. I don't have any research experience nor written any research paper. Okay, great. This is another specific question. Can you please email us and we'll get in touch with you through a one-on-one session where we can guide you on how to proceed if a university has a requirement for a research proposal and you don't have any prior research experience. All right, lovely. It was great talking to all of you today. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, we do only guide for the US. It is Education USA, so this is only for US universities. If you need any additional assistance from us, please feel free to reach out to us at the given emails and we'd be happy to assist you. For a person who's asking about the grammatical error checking in your essays, it's Grammarly, but please download the Microsoft Word extension. Don't upload your essays into their platforms. All the services that are provided by Education USA are free of cost. We don't have any charges, and we are your official source of US higher education. We can guide you on other parts of the application as well regarding GRE preparation. So if you want any assistance with GRE resources, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves.